Well, good morning. Good morning. Doc Frost coming to you from the command bunker here in Newmarket, New Hampshire. I hope all of you are well. So again, we're just going over Module 2, what is expected this week, and there is a lot. There is a lot to discuss and a lot to offer. And one of the things I want to let you know with Saving Grace is that these videos will only get shorter and shorter and shorter as we go along. Thank God. Because I know you're taking multiple classes, and I know that I have a lot of you in this class and my Introduction to Criminal Justice class. So it's kind of cool to see so many familiar names going back and forth. But for me, that can certainly be kind of confusing. So with that, I pray for your patience, and because I might get confused, because I'm wondering, didn't I just talk to Michaela and in this other class, and what did I say to her there versus what am I saying to her here, etc., etc. So anyhow, it can get complicated. So Module 2, one of the things that you'll see, and I know, it's just like, seriously, Doc, you want me to read all this stuff over and over and over again? And I guess the answer ultimately is yes. So you'll see with the generic postings that give you the overview for the week, it is nothing more than a cut and pasted document from what is inside of the class shell. So yes, it is redundant. Anything that I'm going to expand on, I'm going to be doing via video, because I'm not going to sit there and imagine that you're actually reading everything that I'm putting in print. So let's start off with that point to begin with. So number one, all of you, and I don't know if any of you made this observation, but I have been intentional in trying to respond, and I think I have, in the initial post to each and every one of you. That is not a requirement of Southern New Hampshire University for instructors. It's far less than that. But I think it's important in the opening salvo that I make personal contact with each and every one of you. So when it comes to feedback, when it comes to how it is that I grade your work inside of the rubric, I have constantly referred to most of you when I graded the discussion section of it, to please go back and look at the feedback that I gave you inside of the discussion shell. Because that's where I feel, that's where I take the personal time to really get in depth with what it is that you've posted. And some of you might be shocked or amazed, or maybe not, but I know that some of my responses to you were actually lengthier than what your initial response was. So when it comes to grading you, I want you to read everything that I offer for feedback, and that brings up a very important point. When I taught this class a couple of semesters ago, which was my first online class, I did a quantitative survey of people that actually read the feedback that I offered. And here's a startling statistic. 7, not 70, not 97, but 7% of students read all of their feedback. 7. Look at that from a quantitative number of 100. So if I had 100 students, that would mean that 7% of those students read each and everything, all of this laborious feedback that I offer and constructive feedback that I offer to students. Only 7% read what I posted. 7%. So what does that do? If I notice some sort of technical glitches in your presentation, in your writing, or in the structure of your assignment, and I give you some feedback about how you might want to correct that, if you don't read that feedback, you just do the same mistake all over again. And here we go, rinse, wash, repeat. And it becomes that much more laborious for me, not for you, because ultimately you're not reading any of it. If you're getting a grade that you're okay with, you're just saying, okay, next. And I understand it. You know, I'm a guy that sat in 77 of these classes, 5 college degrees, 77 classes. Trust me, I know what it's like to be a student. And for 25 years, I know what it's like to be a professor. So my point is, read your feedback, please. Please. It will get more specific as we go along in the class. So read the feedback. And one of the other things that I know that I pleaded with you in the first video that I posted, that you might have watched or not, is to, when you do your assignments, print out the rubric. Have the rubric right there for you. So as you're completing the assignment, you can look at the scoring criteria and just simply say, am I really doing, exceptional? Am I really doing, and should I be getting the highest grade in this particular category? And not to be redundant, but to be redundant, what I'm going to recommend is that you look at the assignment, and particularly in these discussion groups, with the first one is like, crime type, motivation, topic selection. Why is it that you chose the case study that you chose? And really, it is, for me, it's as simple as you take the header, the category from the rubric, that becomes the header in your paper. Then you answer the question. The next category on the rubric, that becomes your header. And again, I've explained this in the first one, but it makes it clean and simple and easy to track and easy to follow. Just my recommendation. When I was doing my second graduate degree in social work, a professor said, if you want to know, students, because we have not had each other in a class before, if you want to know what I consider to be A quality work, the grade A, go to the library, and I have examples of previous students' work that is available for your purview. You can make copies. That's what I consider to be an A. And if you want to get an A, certainly not plagiarize, but construct a paper that is consistent with what I think is a paper. We have not had each other as student and professor before, so you don't know what my expectation of an A discussion group is or an A quality paper is. We're going to learn that together. And the only thing we can do is we can learn that over the next 8 weeks. And here we are already talking about week 2. So again, look at the redundant material that I put in the announcement. It's there. So print the rubric, read your feedback, use it as an example, and then read it objectively at the end and compare it to the rubric. How do you think you did? So one of the things I have the benefit of with this particular class is when I had students in my previous class that did what I consider to be A quality work, A papers, I actually asked them permission to be able to use their papers as guides for future classes. And I have all of that available. So again, I know that I included that. I typed that in so many of your papers. If you would like some examples, send me an email and I'll send them along. So again, I'm reminding you, if you would like some visual guidelines on what I think is an A paper for these assignments from here on out, shoot me an email and I'll send you a couple of examples. Again, not to plagiarize, but at least to look at what I consider to be A quality work. So let's see. Beyond that, let's talk about, when we look at the objectives here for Module 2, explain similarity and differences in various cases, apply theories to assist in critical thinking, develop a basic demographic summary, and identify criminal behaviors and psychological factors. So you'll see that you'll have chapters 4, 5, and 11 that you're responsible for reading in this particular week in criminal behavior. You're going to have uniform crime reporting. You're going to have the Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology, Module 2 supplemental resources, and criminal data guides. These are all meant to offer you supplemental material in addition to your readings to understand what this section of the work is all about. So look at all of those. If you want, print those out. The links are there. So again, we're going to be looking at the origins and etiology, there you go, of criminal behavior by further exploring situational factors that can influence somebody's behavior. So this week is really going to be behavioral. That's what we're going to be talking about, and that's what you're going to be writing on. So again, 2-1 discussion, theory and criminal assessment. Nobody has entered anything in there yet. And again, read it, do it. Read it and do it. When you give feedback, And some of you are so very good at offering others feedback. But when you give feedback, before you give feedback, look at the feedback that you've received from your peers. Is it good? Do you think that it was valuable for you to read? If not, why not? And when you offer feedback to your fellow students, correct some of those deficiencies. Do better than was done for you. So I always recommend going through and looking what people write for feedback to peers. Read a lot of these feedback discussions. And when you find people that you think do exceptional feedback, maybe you want to emulate that. Maybe you want to take on some of that and be that full and rich in your feedback to your peers. And then that way you can get a really good score in that particular scoring category. So again, 2-1 discussion, theory and criminal assessment. You're going to be looking at cases from the FBI's most wanted list. Pretty important to do. Pretty interesting. And then you're going to be doing the 2-2 worksheet, gathering criminal data. And you will see, to complete this assignment, review the following documents. And when it says review the following documents, again, for me, what I do is you've got the criminal data guide, criminal data worksheet, criminal data guidelines, and rubric. I printed them all out. I'm not even taking the class, and I printed them all out because I think they come in handy. I think they're going to be beneficial to all of you when you do that. And then you have your quiz, and it's going to be a chapters 4, 5, and 11. So your reading assignments and your quizzes. So please stay current with your quizzes. All of these things have expectations and timelines. So when you look at it, follow the criteria. Again, I apologize. Usually, and I think from here on out for the discussion groups, if you look at the when you have to have those in, I believe that this week's discussion group is due on Thursday night, if I am not mistaken. So if I am mistaken, I'll find that out and pay no attention to me. But I believe that the discussion groups from here on out will be due by midnight on Thursday night. So, feedback, read it. Rubrics, print them, use them, study them, digest them, I mean physically, but really understand them and use them as guides when you structure your work so that you can answer the questions in each one of the categories. Questions. There's no dumb one. Absolutely not. Contact me. Call me, email me, text me, FaceTime me. I have my own Zoom address for Southern New Hampshire. We can do a live Zoom meeting anytime that you want. Reach out. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm here for you. I work for you. So feel free to contact me whenever you want and in whatever way is going to work best for you. Let's see. What else? Read the feedback. Please don't be one of the 7%ers. I would really like to get that number way, way, way up. And again, if you want any examples to use as guidelines, certainly not to plagiarize, but to use as guidelines, send me an email and I will send them along. Shoot me an email and I will send them right out to you. So I think that we've covered everything. Again, I apologize for the redundancy in the announcement. All of that stuff is what you've already got inside of the shell. So you're actually, if you choose to read it, you're going to read it twice. But now that you have this brilliant narrative, you'll be able to fully understand it. So again, this is Doc Frost. These videos, don't worry, they're going to get shorter as we go along. I won't have to keep repeating myself, I hope. So I hope all of you are well. Take care of each other, look out for each other, and look out for other people in your family and in your life. Make sure that they're safe. So I will be talking with all of you very soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.